And in our lesson 3, we'll be talking about learners with cognitive differences. We started with those with sensory impairments. Then we went to learners we were still at sensory, right? The 3 different categories in sensory. And now we are looking at learners with cognitive differences. We start with those with mental retardation. Categories of learners with mental retardation: we have mild, we have moderate, we have severe, and we have profound. With mild, these are people that we interact with in our day-to-day lives. They attend school, mild mental disabilities. They learn, but they are slow. They are behind their age mates because, of course, their brain development is behind that of their age mates, and therefore they are seen to lag behind in terms of learning. Their motor, their social, their language skills are also slow, but with time they develop. They can get along well independently in the community. That's why I'm saying we live with them within our communities. And they can gain occupational and vocational skills. They are able to later on earn a living themselves, even if they are said to have mental disabilities. It's mild, but it's just that they are slow and they are behind their age mates. Moderate, they demonstrate developmental delays as they grow up in sitting, in crawling, in walking, in acquiring language. They are slow, they are behind. And then we have severe mental disabilities. These ones show marked deficit in adaptive behavior, and they have genetic disorders, severe sensory and emotional difficulties. So it's not just their brain, but you realize that even their walking, sometimes their sight. So these come together with their mental disabilities because it's all about brain damage. And they have difficulties in motor, social, speech and language skills. They may not be able to communicate very well with others or even socialize with others. And mostly they may not go too far when they go to school. They can only, they actually don't learn academic stuff. Mostly they just trained how to, daily living skills actually, we call them daily living skills, where they are taught how to feed themselves, to blow their own noses, to dress up, tie their shoelaces, those kind of things. And finally, we have profound mental disabilities. These ones are really profound. Mostly they live a life of assistance. They cannot do much on their own. Mostly they are bedridden. They are not even able to walk. They are not able to speak. And therefore they are very dependent on others, and they require total care throughout their lives because their brain is profoundly damaged, and therefore they are not able to do anything for themselves. And of course they will not go to school because they can't even walk, they can't even talk, they can't do anything. Now, characteristics of learners with mental retardation. As we said earlier, they'll be slow in acquiring and developing skills. Skills such as speaking, even walking. They'll delay. Fail to acquire or understand and even use language. Sometimes they may not even get that language, they may not be able to use it, but some do, but after a long period, and they may not actually be able to communicate so much. They have retarded motor development. They are able to do anything with their hands, their legs. It's also retarded, has not developed fully. Have difficulty in remembering experiences or things they learned. So that's why we were saying that even academic learning can be very difficult for some of them, especially those who are severe and moderate, because what they learn today, they will not remember what they learned tomorrow, because their brain is not able to store information so that they can later on retrieve it when they want to remember. So experiences that happen to them or things you have trained them, they'll take too long to be able to remember what they are doing. But again, it will depend on the level and the category they fall in. They have extreme difficulty in academic subjects that we have said, and of course, because we have seen learning is difficult because of that lack of brain development. So interventions for learners with mild, those who attend school, supposed to be taught skills to enable them to live socially with others, and slightly academically functional for those who are mild. Tasks arranged as we teach them. We need to remember that the tasks you're giving them need to be arranged in small sequences, step by step, slowly, not so fast, so that they are able even to gain self-confidence, language, and vocational good habits of health, safety. Even whatever they are doing, they know that here it's risky. They need to learn that as they play. And then learners with moderate mental disability, we can support them to develop habits of activities of daily living, just as I said. These are simple things: how to feed themselves, how to care for themselves, and also maybe develop some little communication skills, even if it will not be really verbal. At least they are communicating when they want something. Then under learners with cognitive differences, we look at learners who are gifted and talented. As we talk about learners whose brain development does not reach the normal, there are other learners who are ahead, who are beyond those of their age. So these are learners whose potential abilities show very high performance in areas such as intellectual, creativity, specific academic, leadership ability, performing, and visual arts, because we are talking about talents. We are talking about those who are very bright, very gifted academically, but also we are talking about those who have other talents in performing and visual arts. Now, how do we classify them? First, we'll talk about those who are gifted. When we talk of gifted, and we are not saying that everyone who is gifted is talented. You can be gifted and not talented. You can be talented and not gifted. So those who are gifted, they show exemplary academic performance. And then we have those who are talented, who can do exceptionally well in music, in comedy, in athletics, in dancing, in sports, all that. Then learners who are highly motivated. Now, those ones are not really falling under the other categories, but are very, very highly motivated. And these ones show intellectual abilities also above their chronological age. That means their age mates. And then learners who are creative. We know there are some children who are very, very creative, who can demonstrate this in their art design. When they're designing something, they're coming up with something very unique. In music as they sing, in writing. So these ones also fall under learners who are gifted and talented. How do we get to identify them? One, they display curiosity about everything. They want to know. They really want to know more about something that they come across. They evaluate facts and arguments critically. They are people who have a lot of self-confidence in themselves. Their reasoning capacity is high, very high. Their vocabulary is really advanced, maybe because they love reading books, and they read books meant for older people than them. And then they tend, not all, but a number of them may have exceptional leadership abilities. You'll find them always at the front, leading in groups. Sometimes they are said to be the ones who organize strikes in school because they're very good in being leaders. Now, what are the educational interventions for them? Many people think that they do not need any educational intervention because they are already ahead, but they do. One, they need to be placed within ability groups. They are with people who are close to their level, so that they're not feeling like they're wasted or they're doing almost nothing, but a teacher who realizes that they are learners, or a learner who is above the others in terms of intellectual capabilities, put them in groups where they are close to the same level. Secondly, enriching their experiences. Don't keep them with the same in the same environment, the same experiences. They get bored very fast. So put them in enriching experiences. And here we are talking about areas of learning, not just in the regular curriculum. You can go beyond something outside that regular curriculum, which already they feel they understand and that they're not learning much. Then we talk about acceleration programs. When we talk about acceleration, what are we talking about? We're saying that we do not limit them to go to school when they are 6 years. For example, here in Kenya, we talk about 6 years. So we are not waiting until they are 6 to allow them to go to school. If they are able and they are ready to start school, we allow them to get to school because their brain is ready. And at that time, if you keep them at home, you're not actually helping them. So early school entrance is one of an acceleration program. The other one is speaking grade or skipping classes. This learner is in grade 3, for example, but is able to work or to follow the content of grade 4 or grade 5. Let them go to that grade where their brain is able to function. There's no point of keeping them in that grade 3, just an example, where whatever you are teaching, whatever seems new to the others, for them is nothing new. So the best is to allow them to go to the next class. And then planned completion. When you talk of planned completion, we are saying we do not wait until, for example, here now we have a policy where we are talking of 18 years, not really, not 18, 14. By the time they are leaving from 14, 15 there. So you're not limiting yourself to the policy, to the legal requirements, for example, of a certain country. If you can see they are able to walk through and finish and do whatever they're supposed to do, if it's an exam, they can do it, allow them to do it. So that's what we mean when we talk of planning completion, rather than keeping them within the system, and yet they can do much better in higher classes. Then the role of the teacher here. What does the teacher do with such a learner in the classroom? Because if we do not focus on them, they will start engaging in other things, because whatever you are teaching the rest of the class, to them is nothing new, and therefore they'll be doing other things, and again, they'll be seen as if they are indisciplined. So, as a teacher, provide special materials and activities beyond the curriculum coverage. So go beyond what is in the curriculum for them, for that class. Give them something extra. Get other materials beyond what the others are using, even if they're beyond their class level. Assign challenging responsibilities. Challenging here, we mean give them something to do which is challenging to their brain, which is not at the level of the rest in the class, which should be his level also according to his age. But we are saying because he's above his chronological age intellectually, challenge them with challenging responsibilities. Also increase individual attention. Focus on them. Don't at any given time say that one, because he understands this, I don't have to bother with them anymore. But you need to have your attention on them, get to know what they're doing, and always give them extra work, tougher work than the rest. Engage the learner rather than leave them, because you can easily say they have understood or they are okay, but they need to be doing something. As a teacher also, you need to be a good role model to such a student, so that they're getting to copy a lot from you and build them as a person, build their personality as a role model. We have come to the end of our third lesson, and we have an assignment here. And my question is here, do you agree that learners who are gifted and talented are among those considered as having special needs? If you are meant to explain. If you don't agree, explain. If you do, explain. So that now will take us to the next lesson.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.